I'm working as one of the senior developer in one of the big four companies in India. And coming to the syllabus which we cover here, and what are all the major topics we cover here is C sharp, HTML and CSS, and Bootstrap as well. So Bootstrap as well comes under this. So C sharp is the programming language which we use to develop our web applications, and HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap. So these are all the front end or UI stuff where we configure or where we design our UI based in using these things. And SQL server is a database which we have the connection between our code and the database, and in SQL we will create tables and we will manage the data in our SQL server, which we will deeply learn. And also there is one more ASP.NET entity framework. So entity framework is one which we use to connect our code with the database. So how we connect our code and database together, we will use this entity frameworks, and this is a framework which allows us to connect the SQL connections and close the connections and allow us to query the tables and others in our code. And ASP.NET MVC. So in ASP.NET we use C sharp or VB.NET, but mainly VB is a old one, and we use C sharp as of now. And C sharp using ASP.NET and .NET MVC. So MVC is an framework or an architecture where it has architecture like model, view, and controller. MVC defines this model, view, and controller. So model will have all our model classes which connects with our database, and view will have all our UI related stuff, and controller will perform the controller operations, which which we will deeply learn in this syllabus, how the controller works and how we have the connection between all these model, view, and controller. So entity frameworks, as I said, entity frameworks, we use it to connect between ASP.NET and SQL Server. So how to query the table, how to get the output of the stored procedure, and how we manage the data tables and data sets, we will learn in this entity frameworks. And entity frameworks, we can use it in both ASP.NET and .NET MVC and .NET Core as well. So .NET Core, it is the latest version of ASP.NET. So now current version we have is 6.0, and 3.1 has the long time support. ASP.NET Core and API. So APIs, how we call the API, how API works, and how API controller we will how to call the API controller, how to manage it, everything we will learn in this ASP.NET Core. So these are the main modules which we will be covering in this syllabus, and we will be doing two projects. One with ASP.NET MVC and entity framework, and second project we will be doing it with ASP.NET Core API and SQL Server. So this covers entire syllabus of our full stack development using ASP.NET C sharp.
Hello, Praveen sir. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
So, as you just said that entity frameworks, we are going to use it with ASP.NET,
right,
right? So, the entity framework is mainly used for establishing connection between our application and the database, right?
right.
Yeah. So, can we use the same while establishing communication between C sharp application and the database as well?
Yeah.
Like the
So
same APIs
C
are
sharp,
used, or
any C sharp application, we
yeah.
will be developing it using ASP.NET frameworks.
Okay. Like as you said, the MVC MVC is nothing but a design pattern, right?
It's an architecture. MVC is an architecture.
Yeah, architecture. So whatever architecture we are using here is the MVC, like model V and controller.
Right.
Okay,
So
okay,
first, we
yeah,
in C sharp we will be learning with ASP.NET framework. So ASP.NET framework is the
okay,
basic framework. where we will
Right.
develop a web application using C sharp language.
Okay, got it.
So there we will learn how to connect the entity framework, but we will not create any project. So the
Mm-hmm.
project which we create is in ASP.NET MVC entity framework and ASP.NET Core and
Mm-hmm.
entity framework.
Entity framework. Okay, got it.
Because these two are the main which all the applications are using right now. So ASP.NET
Mm-hmm.
framework is a old version which is no longer used by new applications. Everyone are migrating to .NET Core right now.
Mm-hmm.
Even MVC is an
And
old,
which was
but still many are using MVC and Core, and many are migrating
okay.
from MVC to Core and framework to Core.
Okay. Okay. And which version of .NET framework are we using here?
So .NET framework we use is for Core we use 3.1 because that has a long time support.
Mm-hmm.
But the latest version is 6.0 and 5.0 also we can develop. But that does
Okay.
not have any support from Microsoft right now. And new update will not be coming to 5.0.
Okay.
So, but 3.1 has a long time support. So, and it is stable version. So, we'll stick
Okay.
on to 3.1. Once 6 is stable, we can move to, we can upgrade to 6.
Okay. 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 That is fine.
Okay. So let's proceed further and let's see in detail what we cover in C sharp, like introduction to C sharp and the condition statements and the loops, different kind of loops we have here, different condition statements like if else, for each, uh, while, do while, and switch statements. So those will be covered in this topic. And C sharp arrays and strings. So how many functionalities we have with array, like array dot sort, array dot reverse, and many other things. And C sharp strings, so even in strings we have different functions like string dot replace, string dot concat, and many things. Those will be covered in this C sharp. So many functionalities we use with array and string, those things we will be covering here. And then object orientation programming in C sharp. So mainly C sharp is a object oriented programming language. In simple we call it OOPS language. So what all OOPS concepts we cover here is abstract, interface, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism. Those major OOPS concepts will be covered in this part, and how we use that, and where we are using, and difference between them we will be covering in this topic. Then C sharp concepts like abstract class, how to make an class abstract, and method as an abstract, and how to use the interface, and how to use the interface methods, how to implement the interface classes. And then partial classes. So partial class is like having a class with same name, two classes with same name. In one it will be partial because it will have only partial data. So that in depth we will be going through there, partial class and partial methods. We also have partial methods. We'll be seeing that in this module. And then other things like properties, how to get and get how to set the getter and setter methods, and how to do the exception handling, and how to do indexes, we'll be covering in this C sharp. So other than that, we'll also cover. So other than that, we will also cover anonymous types. So what are these anonymous types and how we uh, design this. And we have delegates. So we have something known as delegate class and delegate method. So how we are using these delegates and what is the use of these delegates we will be seeing. And we have events and lambda expressions, which these lambda expressions are also known as link queue queries. So how we do this link queue query, how what we do here will be covering most. This lambda expressions or link queue query will be most useful for us in entity frameworks. So how we do that, how we can give the lambda expression, we will be seeing there. Then at last we will be covering the asynchronous programming. So how what is the major difference between synchronous and asynchronous, how we can do an asynchronous programming, and other things will be covering here. Also this will cover our in this this will cover our C sharp, and here even here we will cover major topics of solid principles and um, design patterns.
Okay.
So these are the major topics we cover in C sharp as part of this syllabus. And then coming to HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap. So this is mainly used for UI, like how to design the UI patterns, how to design the tags. In HTML we majorly call them as tags. So how to do the HTML tags, how to have table form tags, media tags, storage tags. So those basic things we will be covering in HTML. And CSS is mainly used for designing. So CSS cascade style sheet. So that is a full form of CSS, where how to style our UI, how to give the like to give bold, to color our background, to color our text. uh, all those things we will be having in this CSS. And we have all our fundamentals and advanced concepts. So how to design our UI we will be learning in CSS. And Bootstrap is used for styling, and it has more advanced features than CSS. Like in Bootstrap we can design our buttons, we can design our text boxes, and we can also design our div elements, which we will be covering in this Bootstrap. So this HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap entire all three things will be covered parallelly, because all are interrelated. So when we create any web application, so we if we create any div element, for that we need styling, and also we need our Bootstrap components as well. So all three things will be going in parallel, and we will cover all the major parts, how to design our UI. So then we will start with our SQL Server. So SQL Server is used to store our data. So how we store our data, what are tables, how to create the tables, how to create the stored procedures, how to create the functions, and then how to create our views and indexes. And also we have one more thing known as performance tuning in SQL Server. That is, if our stored procedures has more, it is running for more number of time, then there will be some a delay in production or UAT server. So how to cover that, everything we will be seeing in this SQL Server. So how we can do our performance tuning to stored procedures or functions, how to create the indexes. So indexes we have different types, like cluster and non-cluster indexes. So how to create that, and what are the use of it, and those things we will be seeing here. And then SQL Server, what are triggers and cursors, how to trigger that triggers every time. Like triggers are like some set of statements which will run each time some thing has happened. Like so we will give some trigger point, so at that point it will trigger that script. So how that will work. And cursor is nothing but similar to our loops in our code. So how we do our for loop and while loop, similarly we have cursors in SQL. So how we are doing that looping through cursor, we will be seeing in detail here. So apart from this, we will also see how to do the performance tuning in stored procedures. Then we'll start with ASP.NET MVC. So introduction to MVC, what all things we do in MVC, what is the MVC framework, how to do that. And we also have fundamentals, MVC fundamentals, we have forms and validations, and how to perform that. And then we also have forms and validations. In forms and validations, how we perform our model binding, and how to work with data using entity framework. So here, parallelly we will start with our entity frameworks, because using MVC we will see how we can use our entity framework, and we will do the database CRUD operations like inserting, updating, deleting, and other things. And we will also create the MVC unit testing project. So how to do the unit testing using N unit testing or MS unit testing. So those things we will be seeing here. And we will also build a RESTful service with ASP.NET MVC using web API. So here, what we will do, we will start with the MVC, and parallelly we will go with the entity framework. So once we start with the MVC, we'll see the basic, like fundamentals, forms, and validations, and then we will start with working with the entity framework. And parallelly, we will start the entity frameworks like database for first approach, code first approach, and advanced concepts of entity framework. Then we will create an project, and along with the project, we will also create the unit testing document, where this at this point we will but at the end of this topic we will be thorough in all MVC concepts, entity frameworks, and unit testing, how to do the unit testing. So this MVC and entity frameworks covers everything, and we will be creating one project here with including all these topics. then
Sounds good.
Then we'll start with ASP.NET Web API. So Web API, how to get started with Web API, what are the fundamentals, and how to create the RESTful services and advanced concepts of Web API. And this Web API we will be creating in .NET Core. And here also we will be involving the entity frameworks, and we will see how we can update our data using Web API controllers and .NET Core. So this project we will be creating it in .NET Core. So the only major difference between the previous and this topic is here we will be creating it in ASP.NET Framework, and here we will be creating it with .NET Core. So two projects will be created here finally. So this completes our syllabus, and the main this completes our syllabus. Any doubts in syllabus, or any other topics you want me to cover in this?
Yeah, yes, Praveen sir. Can we go for React or some advanced technologies?
Okay,
Because React is nowadays it's a hot technology, right?
right.
So
Agree.
really interested to yeah. Mm-hmm.
React, yeah, I can go with Angular, but React, even I know only the basics, but I don't know in depth.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Angular, I'm good with Angular, where I have worked with two to three application. But even Angular, I am new to Angular,
Mm-hmm.
but I can try to cover
Mm-hmm.
whatever knowledge I have. I can share that with you.
Okay, and one more query is like when we say we develop our web application using means we use HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap for developing UI for web applications. Okay,
Mhm.
so when we say that, are we using only HTML or CSS or Bootstrap, or are we using collectively all these three technologies?
We
Means
will
I'm not clear
collectively
about
use
that.
all those three technologies. So, uh,
Okay.
if you have worked in C Sharp, or
Yeah,
if you have
I
worked with
worked in
C
the C.
Sharp, you will
Mhm.
see a class like .aspx and .aspx.cs.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. I have seen that.
the file with .aspx is HTML file, where you can have
Mm-hmm.
HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap there.
Mm-hmm.
And the file with .aspx.cs is our main class, where we will be writing our controller classes. those kind of things there. So
Okay.
other than that, we can also have only .cs class. Along with that, we will have JavaScript .js class. So JavaScript and HTML that we will cover in
Mm-hmm.
VC, where we use partial classes, or it has the
Okay.
extension like .cs that CSHTML along with the JavaScript.js. So we will be combining both the things and rendering it in our controller code.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
So major things we will use is JavaScript, Bootstrap, HTML and CSS. We will be covering it in just the basic things we will be covering, like
Okay.
what are the
Okay.
tags,
Okay. Got it. Okay. But mostly we are using Bootstrap and JavaScript, right?
JavaScript.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. And
Praveen,
another thing is,
oh, sorry, go ahead, Shweta.
yeah, one more thing is like when you say unit testing, Premisa, so
Hmm.
that time are you using the mock test as well, or simply the J unit?
We use N unit, and we also have one
Oh,
more
sorry. Yeah.
concept, MS unit.
Okay.
So we'll be covering both those in this topic.
Okay.
So
Okay.
N unit is one of the inbuilt which we have in our Visual Studio or .NET framework.
Yep. 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 .NET Framework supports CN unit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So that we will be using it major.
Okay.
So, Praveen, I'm based out of Netherlands. Um, so, why I joined this demo and why I would like to do along with Shweta is I have no, obviously, I did in the past, but now, last more than 15 years, I haven't coded anything. So, my simple question, although syllabus looks good, and I think if we are going to do two different projects which are covering the rest of the syllabus, my point is like, I don't know anything about coding as of now, not even .NET, any other thing. Is it possible for me if I jump in this course, I can do the coding, I can understand the concept, I can even complete the project which you're talking about? Is that the case? If not, just to be honest, just to be honest, because like I said, I don't want to waste my time, your time, and just to be part of the course, but not adding any value to me as well at the end. So, what do you think? Like, if I jump into the course, let's say as a fully blank person, can I able to do it? If yes, how quickly are we going to start the course, and how will be the timings and etc. Is that any information do you have, or
Okay. So if you don't have any knowledge on programming, yeah, we will start from the scratch. So we will start from C sharp, a main introduction to C sharp and how the loop works, and from scratch we will start where you will learn from basic, like how to create the class, how to create the methods. From there we will start our class. So definitely you can catch it, and you can complete the projects as well if you are following the class regularly, and if you are if you are again seeing the concepts daily. Definitely you will catch up and try to finish the.
yeah, because what probably you might be asking, like, I'm joining one of the Microsoft partner company by 1st of February.
Okay.
Obviously, I won't be doing coding, but it is necessary for me to at least understand if I'm talking to the customers and helping them to automate the infrastructure. At least I should know on the overall, like, what kind of things they should take into account. But knowing in-depth knowledge is always good, because then you will be helping them on a very early stage of their migration or transformation. That is the whole agenda behind the scene. Because I'm joining on a director level, so I probably won't be doing all the coding, but it is very important for me to really sit with customers, really understand if there are small challenges which I can encounter and try to solve for them if necessary. Although I'll be having my team, but it is also good to put the impression and then move on. That's the whole idea behind joining this course.
Okay. So to get the whole idea of how the application works and how you can help, like I think you need complete knowledge of the application, or at least you should finish till MVC part, so then you can have the complete idea. But
Mhm.
still, even if we start from tomorrow, we can't cover that much by Feb 1st.
No, no, no. I mean, no, I'm not saying like we have to finish by first week.
Hmm.
Obviously, the duration is 2 or 3 months. That's okay. But my point is, obviously, I'll be joining. That doesn't mean I'll be starting working with customer immediately. I'll be having 1 month of onboarding and learning inside their processes, their way of working. That will be 1 month. So, uh, just trying to understand from you. It's not about I want it tomorrow because I'm joining something. No, that's not the pressure for you or pressure on myself as well, but just trying to understand like how far I can understand how far we can go. So you said like if I understand the MUC, I can understand the application base and how can basically talk about building the .NET stack. If that up to 1 or 2 months, if I get that idea, also is good. But then, of course, my main motto is to complete the entire course. Try to get as much hands-on as possible to uh, also show that you have the developing skills. Um, so that's what I'm just asking. See, what you might be thinking, this is stupid guy, is fine with me, but the thing is like I really want to get my hands dirty and make sure that I can write the same code as my peer Shweta is writing. And obviously, um, I'll be happy to learn from you both since you are already a programming background. So open to learn and open to ask anything. If that is the thing, then I'm in the course.
Yeah, you can definitely learn. As I said, we are starting from scratch. So from basic thing like how to create a class and from how to create the methods, we will be starting where you can learn all the things deeply. And yeah, you by once we reach the MVC, you will have the knowledge of application, and you can help the with, or you can talk with your clients how the application works, or you can also help in any of the small issues.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, so anything else?
Nothing from
Uh,
my side.
Nothing, my pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Shweta, Amar, and Praveen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks everyone. Yeah. Have a nice day.